Hey guys, it's SJ. Welcome to my first Baby Names Monday. Today I am going to be sharing 15 really pretty but quite uncommon floral flower names for baby girls because I absolutely love flower names and they are so common now. This month a survey by Emma's Diary showed that 60% of parents actually chose a floral name for their babies, and the last 6 years a flower name has been in the top 10. So this is a trend that goes right back to Edwardian time, so you probably have a granny called Daisy or something like that. I do. And I absolutely love these names. They are so classic. They never go out of fashion because they are so feminine and beautiful, but it is really difficult to find an unusual one. I've done all the hard work for you. I have scoured the flower names to find you the top 15 that are so pretty. I will give you the meanings, the popularity ranking. Do stick around and do hit subscribe if you like baby name videos, because I will be doing a new one every Monday, and I'd love your ideas for baby name lists below. Really happy to make a bespoke one for you. So let's get started. So the first flower name is actually my baby girl's middle name, and that is the name Blossom. I've always really liked the name Blossom. I do remember the 90s show Blossom, do you? With her little hats turned up, and I loved that show. But for me it was just something that was very unusual and unique, and probably more a bit of a botanical name than a flower name. It has started to become a little bit popular, but it is still only around number 478 in terms of usage in 2015, which is actually a lot higher than I thought it would be. I've never met another Blossom, and whenever I mention it as her middle name I get a lot of compliments on it. Even though it's more popular than I thought, there are only 14 babies per million babies born called Blossom. So if we're looking for an unusual flower name, it's a really good choice. I think definitely go for it. I kind of feel like I'm giving you one of my favourite baby names, but you can have it. Second on my list is a gorgeous name, which is the name Marigold. So Marigold has been predicted to have a massive boom since it was featured in Downton Abbey as the name of one of the children, if you watch that show. And that boom prediction has been right. The name has gone up 1,300 places since 2016. So if you really like it, but you don't want a two-way out their name, it's a really pretty one. So for me, this really sounds like a proper name, and maybe because before it was even the name of a flower, it was a name, and it was taken from Mary's gold. So if you are quite spiritual, it was to do with Mary, mother of Jesus, and there's story around her as a saint. This flower is often associated with her. There's even a story around the fact that thieves accosted Mary, and instead of gold coins falling out of her purse, it was gold marigolds. So if you really like the name Marigold, it's good to know a bit of history about it. I love it, and I think even though it's rising, that's a good thing. And her nickname could be Goldie, which is also mega cute. Let me tell you about the next name, which is the name Dahlia. Dahlia isn't mega uncommon. It was actually at number 845 in terms of usage in 2015. But I've never heard it very much, and it's actually the national flower of Mexico. So if you have those Mexican connections, that's a really nice one. But it is named after a Swedish botanist called Andres Dale. So again, if you've got sort of Scandinavian connections, it's a really nice one. Flowers kind of have symbols, don't they? And the dahlia symbol is around commitment, so it's quite often chosen as a wedding flower. I think as a name, it is so pretty. Those D names are quite unusual, but L names are very popular. So dahlia together is a really unique sounding, but very modern sounding name. If you like sunflowers, and who doesn't, they are so easy to grow, then you might like the name Zinnia, which is a type of sunflower. It's a really uncommon name. The stats I've got are mega old. It actually peaked about 27 years ago when it had a very low positioning anyway, but it's a really modern sounding name. Those Z names are so popular. Zinnia is a really pretty flower, and it's got a lot going for it as a pretty name. Next up is a bit of a celebrity baby name, and that is the name Bluebell. Jerry Halliwell has a little girl called Bluebell. I actually really like it. It's going down in terms of popularity, so if you're looking for a really unusual type of hipster type of name, it's a good choice. And I was thinking she could go with Belle when she was little, and she could go with BB when she's a little bit older and wants to be a bit cooler. But Bluebell as a name is actually really nice, and if you think about colour names as a trend and flower names as a trend, it goes together really well. I think that if you had a little girl called Bluebell, you'd have lots of compliments on it. It's a really cute one, and as I said, quite unusual. Another name I absolutely love as a flower name is one of the fastest rising flower names in the UK at the moment is the name Primrose. It has doubled in the last couple of years, all thanks to probably Hunger Games, when her little sister is called Primrose. Primrose is now at number 259. That was back in 2015, which is the latest official stats that we have, and it's taken from Latin, which is prim meaning first and rose meaning the flower. I actually really think this is such a pretty name. I think rose is so popular now, even though it's having this massive boom at the moment. I've not met any primroses. Let me know below if you have a baby called Primrose, or if you've heard of this name locally, or if you think you might go for it. I think it's going to be one of those really lovely pretty flower names that's been really unique and is going to come a little bit further forward. Or if you are a bit more daring and want a quite out there flower name, how about Tiger Lily? Tiger Lily is so unusual, but I think it would really be gorgeous, particularly if you are from that origin. So the origin of the Tiger Lily is from China and Korea, although its origin apparently has never definitely been defined. That's where it's said to have come from, and it's a really exotic sounding name. It's so nice, particularly because Lily has been in the top 10 for the last 6 years, if you want something a little bit different. If you're a Disney fan, of course it is also a Disney princess name from Peter Pan, so she's got that lovely association with it as well. I think now in 2017, for me anyway, baby names are becoming so much more varied and nothing seems too unusual, so it could be one that she would still rock down at the playground. Let me know what you think of it. Is it too out there? Is it one you think never going to be mainstream but wouldn't be kind of really too out there name for a little girl these days? I always love to hear what you think in the comments below. If you want a flower name that is not popular in the UK but is hugely popular elsewhere, a gorgeous name is Linnea. Linnea is actually a Scandinavian name. It is named after a Scandinavian botanist, there seems to be loads of those in this list, called Carl Linnaeus, and it's actually known as the twin flower because it is a kind of like little bluebell type thing, but two of them. So if you're having twins, it's a great choice. And a lovely vlogger called Ursula Rose, who's got a gorgeous name herself, has a twin girl called Linnea. I will link her channel below because check her out, and her baby name videos are amazing. It's actually a really popular name in Scandinavia. I just spent my whole summer in Sweden with my Swedish husband, and the name Linnea is everywhere. You see it on books, pens, badges, you know, the stuff that kids can pick up. It was a #1 name in Norway not so many years ago, so it's not really mega unusual. And if you've got connections to Scandinavia, it's a great one to choose. I think it is so pretty. If you like the name Lily, you probably really like the name Linnea as well, but it is so much more unique. Another name that's not popular here but is in Greece is the name Aster. Aster actually means a star in Greek, but it is used to describe these star-shaped flowers everywhere else in the world. It's a really pretty name. If you like the name Astrid, it's a bit similar to that, but has this nice floral meaning. Aster is actually the flower for September, so if you're having a September baby, it's another really lovely way of linking the name to when she is born, and it is said to be the herb of the god of love, Venus. So loads of lovely reasons to love the name Aster. A name I really like and wanted to include because it is so bang on trend is the name Maple. Maple leaf is obviously the symbol of Canada, but maples do flower in the late winter and have a really gorgeous dark red flower that I think is really pretty. And maple is just so on trend in terms of the name Mabel has become a really fast growing hipster name and is quite popular these days, and adding that little P is super cute. I think it is so gorgeous and mega sweet. You probably get lots of questions about where you picked the name Maple, so be prepared for those because it is still very unusual. It's not ranked as a name anywhere just yet. Some celebrities have used it, so it's kind of starting to creep through a little bit on the outskirts, but have a think about it. I think it is a gorgeous one. Or how about the name Tulip? Tulip is a really common flower everywhere around the world, most associated with Holland, where they have tulip festivals all throughout the springtime. They are such pretty flowers, but there aren't very many girls called Tulip. In fact, according to my research, there were only 12 girls named Tulip in 2015, so it's a very, very rare name. I think it's really pretty. I think those T names are very modern. You think about Tilly, Tilda, all those things that are kind of coming through. Tulip isn't that far away from that, and everyone can pronounce it and say it, and it's got a very European feel to it. Have a think about it. I think it could be one that kind of usurps Poppy over the next few years. A flower name that I actually really, really love, probably because I remember a movie of this name, which you will know as soon as I say it, maybe for the same generation as me, is the name Heather. Heather is really become unpopular, but remember, I think it was quite a popular name back when I was growing up, probably because it peaked around 1975, and I'm born a lot later than that, but I probably knew some of those names Heather, and I loved that movie Heathers. Do you remember that with like Christian Slater? It was, and Winona Ryder. I probably watched that on repeat on my old VHS. I think it's a really pretty name. Hazel, as you know, has become really popular, but not so much Heather, and it's a kind of evergreen shrub that grows in Scotland, so if you're Scottish, it's a gorgeous one. I guess it's used more up there than down anywhere else. It's not mega rare. It's actually still at number 708 in terms of babies registered with the name Heather in 2015, so it's not a super unique one. We've all probably know it as a name as well as a kind of shrub. What do you think of it? I really like it. I don't think it sounds old-fashioned. I think it could be a really modern one. It's almost starting to become a bit vintage. If you were after a name with the most gorgeous meaning, how about the name Calla? Calla lilies are known to be the most beautiful lilies, and the name Calla means the most beautiful. So how nice to give that to your little baby girl. It's really nice. I think those L sounds for little girls are so soft and so pretty, but it is still really, really unique. In fact, in terms of stats I can find for it, it peaked back in 1886, so a very long time ago. So it is definitely a kind of vintage baby name. If you like Calla lilies, it's a gorgeous one. She could always get those on her birthday. That's why choosing a flower name is so nice. Next up is a super unusual name that sounds very hipster, which is the name Jonquil. Jonquil is actually a term of daffodil, so it's a type of daffodil, but if you are in the south of America, then it is just the term for daffodils. That's where it is most popular, so its usage is mainly in Texas, but it's still at number 1887, so it's not exactly booming down there. I think it's a really pretty one though, and really unusual if you're looking for something mega unique. The name Quinn and those Q sounds have become quite popular, so Jonquil is a really nice one. And what a nice meaning if people are asking you. I actually love daffodils. They're one of my favourite flowers ever, so to have this as a meaning is really rare and unique. What do you think of it? I mean, it's kind of unusual because it's got that Jean at the beginning, so I guess if your dad was called John, you're kind of more likely to pronounce it Jonquil, which still sounds nice. It's kind of, I don't know, I'm torn on this name. Sometimes I love it, and sometimes I'm like, oh, it sounds a bit more like a boy name, but the meaning is so pretty. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'm going to end the list with one that is massively on the rise, which is the name Laurel. So a lot of us know a Laura or a Lauren, but Laurel is a type of wreath that was given out in Rome. So whenever there was a kind of athletic championship in Rome, which is obviously what we know Rome for, the name of the wreath that was given to the victors was called a laurel. So it's got a really nice kind of, you know, prize type of sound to it, but it is a gorgeous nature name, and it takes Laura back to its kind of botanical roots, which is what's so nice about it. If you have a Laura in your family and you want to kind of move that forward a little bit, then Laurel is quite unusual actually. It's not used majorly out there, and it's more one of those ones people would be like, oh, that's interesting. Of course, be prepared that people are gonna get it wrong and probably call her Laura or Lauren for a little while, but that's what us mums are for, reinforcing the real name. I really hope you've liked some names on this list, and as I said, I do really love to hear from you, so do let me know in the comments below if you've got any more, or if you know any of these names, and if you've got any baby name suggestions. Next week I'm going to be doing a list of boy names, so do hit subscribe to follow along. Every single Monday I'll be uploading a new baby name list. I absolutely love them. I'm not naming a baby but I have found an outlet for my obsession. I hope you're equally as obsessed as me, and I thank you so much for watching till the very end. Lots of love, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.